Hi, and welcome to this week's Real Talk with Amanda. I'm Amanda Hammett, and I'll be answering your life's toughest questions as the cool big sister that you don't have. Let's go ahead and get into this week's question, shall we? So this week's question is actually a continuation of the past few weeks' questions about dating. My office has been getting tons and tons of questions all around dating, so we thought we'd go ahead and expand it and continue talking about it for the next couple weeks. So this week we're going to cover a few dating rules for girls. Don't worry guys, next week we're going to have you covered in some dating rules for guys. Alright ladies, rule number 1, make him come to you. Now, what that really means is that you don't go pick him up, you don't go meet him anywhere. If he really wants to go out with you, he's going to come and pick you up at your house. Even if that does mean he has to go through the scary process of meeting your parents. Now, recently I had someone tell me that she was expecting a date to come and pick her up at her house, and instead he texted her from his car in her driveway to tell her that he was there to come and pick her up. Seriously, like what the fuck? Ladies, rule number 2, don't be too eager. That means if he asks you out on a Thursday to go out with him either on Friday night or Saturday night, you got better things to do than that. That basically means that his plans for the weekend fell through and you're his plan B. Honey, you're nobody's plan B, and start remembering that. You've got too much going on and too much self-respect to start being somebody's plan B. This goes without saying, but don't just be sitting around with your cell phone in your hand waiting for him to call you or text you. I don't care how cute he is. Girlfriend, you got a life. Go out there and live it. And when you're done, then you can text him back. Rule number 3 is finding a happy medium between verbal diarrhea and selective mutism. Let me tell you a little story about this. I recently was at a student organization, and afterwards I had a chance to talk with a small group of students, and the topic turned to dating, of course. And I had a student that actually told me that recently every girl he's gone out with has either had just verbal diarrhea and wouldn't let him get a word in edgewise, or she was completely silent and didn't say a word the whole time. He's like, oh my gosh, I just need someone that I can have a conversation with. So here's the deal, ladies. A date needs to have conversation. Conversation is talking back and forth. It shouldn't be one-sided. At the end of your date, you should know as much about him as you've told him about yourself. If you're one of those girls who is really super shy and you have a hard time thinking of things to ask your date in the moment, why don't you spend a little bit of prep time getting ready for your date? Now, I don't mean your hair and your makeup. I mean thinking about some questions you can ask your date, to keep the conversation rolling. Because there's nothing worse than just staring at somebody thinking, oh my gosh, this is awkward. I wish I had something to say. All right, so that is my A to your Q. Don't forget to check back next week. The guys are going to be in the hot seat. Did you like this video? Well, then go ahead and like it. And of course, if you think that any of your friends need some advice from me, don't forget to share this video with them. And as always, keep your questions rolling in. You never know. Next week, I might even be answering your life's toughest questions. Until then, this is Amanda Hammett, and this has been Real Talk with Amanda. See you next week. I think the last thing I need is coffee. Who does that? Seriously, who does? Let's just do it. I'm crying and I'm just talk. That means if he asks you out on